Oh God, was there a picture? Yeah. Was it bad? He was just opening it when I was leaving. Once I saw that the 3D printer arrived, I was like, legit, he is not coming. Thank you. I was bitching about
It was a much better game, actually.
there were so many that I didn't realize it was. It was really cold on Monday too, but it definitely feels better.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Potomac Curling Club, the finals of the Capital League, playing for the President's Trophy. Team Shirk against Team Glosson tonight. We're also going to follow the two other games going on, which will be Team Cocktail against Team Kriz for the Senate plaque, and the Hack Street Boys against Mulvey for the House Trophy. My name is Brian Dauerheim. I will be here with you for the whole game this time, unlike on Monday when I had to bail out early and only got to broadcast two ends of the mixed doubles game and left the camera on for the rest of the time. If you would like to chat with us, chat over there in the box. I have it up online, and I'll say hi. That's me right there. All right, so everybody's finishing up their slides right now. We actually have some people watching the game. Some fans are here tonight, joining us. Pretty exciting. And here we go. Catherine throwing the first lead rock for Team Shirk. Team Shirk was the #2 team in Capital League this year. They lost in the Page playoff game, the Page 1-2 game last week to the Clausen Rink, and then defeated, I believe they defeated, hold on, I can probably find it out. They defeated Dobbs in the semifinal to work their way into this game. Team Clausen, obviously the #1 overall seed, and they won that 1-2 game last week. And got by right into the final.
Make sure. Wait, the line's good, guys. Line's good.
Take that out.
No bumper. Nice. Good job, guys. Very nice. Control.
You know,
Clausen also won at least one of their round robin games against Team Shirk early in the year.
Yep.
We have our league plays 3 separate round robin sessions, we call them. Teams from we have 2 divisions. The Senate division is the higher division of the 2. The House division is the lower division. And teams can bounce back and forth, get relegated or promoted based on their results throughout the season. These 2 teams obviously stayed in the Senate the entire time. 2 very good teams.
Yes.
So here we have
Yes.
Eric Clausen, dad to Eli, Caleb, and Hunter, the other members of the team.
Okay. Got room.
Making the nice hit, not quite rolling quite as far as he would have liked.
I didn't want to roll anymore than that.
Slightly behind not really behind the tee line, right around the tee line.
Yeah, with my own bar. Bumper? Overswept. That's fine.
good.
Control.
Jeremy Van playing his first rock. He's playing second today for his team. And it looks like Chris Faircloth is vicing. George Shirk, of course, the skip. George had some traveling a bit this year.
Select this side.
Wasn't always able to make it.
Yes.
So they used their 5th fair amount of time. So Chris Faircloth would end up skipping.
Hard, Eli. Hard, Eli. Hard.
A little bit narrow on that hit for the Clausen team. Even Eli, his pretty strong sweeping abilities, was not able to save that one. I think it's key here for the Shirk rink to either stay close or get ahead early. If they get behind big early on here, the Clausen rink is really good at hitting. They will be sure to take advantage of any mistakes that Shirk team makes.
Yes.
So unfortunately, it's just me here tonight. Otherwise, I would have somebody working the cameras, switching back and forth on the views. Unfortunately, since it's just me, it's going to be a little bit too much for me to try to switch back and forth. So we're just going to stick with the multicam view that you have right now. I will try to update the scores as they occur on other sheets as well.
Whoa.
So Caleb now throwing his first rock.
Whoa.
Just trying to peel the guard off a little bit. Not quite what he was looking for. It's a little thin.
Okay, right on the money.
I was here on Monday for part of the game, and the ice on the sheet was pretty straight, and so anything that you threw that was not the right weight would hang out for a long time and wouldn't curl very much. So I have a feeling that's kind of what happened right there. Didn't look like he threw a huge amount of weight, but it was just a little wide. Did not quite make that straight peel as clean as he would have liked. But still the first end. Only a couple of guards there for Team Shirk to try to draw around, and you see he's really going to see this one coming into view here. Is running super straight. Hasn't even crossed that center line yet. Trying to make its way over now. And just looks like he kind of only really got half buried there. Not even. Pretty much the all on the rock. So Eli throwing vice rocks today for this team. Eli skipped a team this year that won the U18 GNCC playdowns and proceeded on to the U18 National Championships and did very well there. I believe they went through as the top seed through the round robin, but couldn't quite pull it out in the playoffs. That one also went pretty straight. Just dead nosing that one. George still doesn't like that it's there, so he's going to try to hit the ball away.
We don't want to roll there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. As long as it's over. Just forward. Yeah, bring it. Bring it. Forward. Just control. All the way. Bumper.
Calling for the sweep early on this one.
Hurry! Nice shot.
He's close enough.
Just gone. We can try to get behind
He's
it.
gonna just take the guard.
We can try to get behind it, or we can do this.
So that opens up a good opportunity now for Clausen to try to score their dues.
That, or just back here.
Mostly trying to not set up a double. Whatever he does, he just wants to keep those rocks separated. Hope to make sure he have to make a tough shot with his last one.
Takes it back here.
That's why there's no curves.
Should come down.
This one looks a bit heavy. See if it'll hold on. It should hold on right back. That's exactly where he was hoping to put it. Pretty well separated. It makes that hit and roll behind pretty difficult. George with his first rock.
Yep.
So he's got it. Let's see if he can get the good roll. Oh, it rolls pretty good. Hanging on the back. Very nice shot. That is a tough one to see whether or not he is shot rock or not, though. Hunter calling that he might be able to play the split. If they're not sure, playing a split will make sure that they tap their yellow up a little further to the shot rock and also roll their other rock onto the. Let's see if I can do a fancy switch here. No, we can't really see because the yellow rock is blocked by our scoreboard. Sorry about that. I tried. Looks like it's really close. They're still not sure, so they're looking at it pretty hard. So you hear Hunter calling that he's going to try to throw back eight. Thinks it's going to be pretty straight ice. Eric is really only giving him about enough ice for the rock to curl about a rock's worth, a rock and a half worth. Maybe a couple feet, if that. So very straight ice right now. But they seem to have a good handle on the weight control with Eli's draw weight, so let's see if Hunter can duplicate that. Goes clean through. Even with that tight ice, it did not curl enough. It was pretty good weight. It was only back 4 weight. But still, it just didn't curl. And it really didn't need to curl that much. If it curls an inch sooner, then they've got a really good shot. But unfortunately, instead, they are just in the back 4. So now George has a chance to freeze right on top of that one. He obviously paid attention to where the opposition had the broom and pretty much puts the broom in the exact same spot. So if he can get the weight dialed in, then he will make it very tough for Clausen to get the deuce. Sweeping for a line here. That looks really light, and they're just going to have to try to get it in to outcount the other yellow. No, it's going to be way short. That one clearly curled a lot more. I think he must have just been really tight on the line because that just was not what he was looking for at all. So now Hunter possibly with a chance to throw either the same shot or just make sure he gets his deuce and throw it in. Just throw a straight draw somewhere. It is possible that they think that they might be shot rock already and they don't need to worry about it, but we will find out. So they're going to try to hit it a little bit thin. And looks like they did it. That'll be 3 for Clausen. Big start to their game. They love playing with the lead. And they're going to be tough to beat when they have such a big lead. So updates from the other 2 sheets. Got the names wrong, I think, on At least one of them. Team Cocktail scored 1 in the first over Team Criz, and they take a 1-0 lead. And over on Sheet D, there was a blank in the first end. So neither team scored. So we'll have to see how the ice plays out here. This seems really straight. And so that is kind of conducive to a low-scoring game. It makes it hard to throw guards and tuck behind, be aggressive like that. So that is going to certainly play to the Clausen's favor with a 3-0 lead. We basically really only saw a couple rocks curl with any sort of distance. One of them was George's last rock, which I thought kind of maybe picked. It was just curling really hard, really early. The other one was Eli's that curled away from the center line pretty well when he threw his draw to the back 12. So we'll see now George trying to put up a corner guard. He's hoping probably that maybe drawing out to the side on the corners might get a little more curl. But this one is just running dead straight down the center line. See it coming into view there. And can be easy pickings for Eric Clausen to take out right now.
I don't mind taking it. Taking it or trying to hit ours and get them both. Yes. Half ours. Half our goal.
That one is taking off on him for sure. Wow. They were on that early. Must have been pretty tight to the broom, but even so, I would not have expected the hit weight to curl that much. That was pretty decent weight. Curled a bunch. So now easy choice for George. Just hit that one and try to separate those rocks a little bit. Roll a little to the outside, make the doubles difficult. See if Catherine can make the shot. Sweeping this one, try to get that roll. And hang on. Will it hang on? And it does, yeah. Very nice shot. So they are sitting 2, and they are very well separated. You never know with the kind of weight that a guy like Caleb can throw. It seems really flat. I don't think he's going to go for a double. He's just trying to make sure he hits it. Tries to roll back in and keep those rocks close together. He does get the roll back towards the middle, so they're going to kind of play this cat and mouse game for a while. George is going to try to hit and separate, and Hunter is going to try to hit and group. Of a thin double. So decision time, He's indicating that he does want to go after it. Called for the peel weight, and about hit a quarter of that red rock to see if he can make it. And much like Eric's rock, this one's curling a bit. It's going to hit a little too thick, right on the nose. Pretty surprising. That kind of weight was a fair bit more than what Eric threw, and it's still, he was only trying to hit a quarter of that, and it curled enough to just get to the nose, which is pretty crazy.
You want to play the straight side, George?
The other turn, maybe, just because we know the line better.
If you throw like back line and push this over, it'll work.
I don't know the line better.
Hit into what?
If you throw back line and hit this, do you think that'll...
It might.
I'd almost rather split up. Take the yellow or tap ours, not try to do a combo.
So Jeremy preferring to throw the other turn. What it was called. Just wanted to throw the in turn rather than the out turn, thinking that he knew the line better, and I think he was wrong because that one hung on him a little bit. So they roll out, and easy decision now for Clausen to just hit stick. So right on the nose,
Are we playing
little roll.
heel again?
George is probably not going to choose to get aggressive this early in the game, so he's going to trade hits now.
You're trying to cross it, right?
This one's curling a bunch, and that's going to hit the right out. Pretty much setting up exactly how the Clausen likes it set up.
I like this better.
Empty house, no guards,
I like board.
3-point lead.
Yeah, unless you want to come this way.
I think we need to play a lighter weight at it. Yeah.
See how much this one curls. He has the broom on just inside the edge of the forefoot. Trying to throw a draw into the top of the house somewhere. From the edge of the four to maybe a quarter of the rock touching the center line. That's not a huge amount of curl. Not even 2 feet. Obviously, George working really tight ice on this hit. Nicely controlled weight for Chris Fairclough. Right on the nose. also running dead straight. Just going to hit and roll out.
You like hitting, or you want to just do this? Let's just throw.
So George's going to try to pick a different line, maybe induce a miss out of the Clausens, just by making them throw a hit on a line they haven't thrown yet. See if it works.
We can go to the other side too.
I hear the other teams talking on their sheets, and their sheets also seem to be running pretty straight. They're not getting a lot of curl either. To be fair, the shots that I've seen have been pretty heavy hit rate shots, so you don't usually expect them to curl very much either. Let's see how much George's curls here. He looks like he has his on the edge of the button. The sweepers were on this early, so we'll see how much that affects the line. Now this is really coming really nicely. It's going to come all the way over to the edge of the 8 foot. So yeah, I think George's strategy from, if they had been able to execute it correctly at the beginning of this end to try to throw corner guards, you might be able to get a good amount of curl on the, to get behind some of those corner guards, score some points that way. Unfortunately, Catherine threw her first rock a little deep, went into the house, and so they were not able to really execute on that strategy. They had to change gears a little bit. A little narrow on this one. Eli's working it hard. He should be able to hold it just enough to at least hit it and roll out. Result, and probably a blank end for, it does stay around actually, so we'll see. George is going to have to try to blank it. Must be nice to have sweepers like that. Eli is pretty young and strong and can hold those rocks a little straighter than perhaps some of the other usual players in your club, your local club. George is just going to nose that one a little bit and stick around for the single point. And it looks like the other sheets are also moving right along here. Team Chris took 2 in the second end to take a 2-1 lead. And over on sheet D, right now, Hack Street boys are sitting a 1. But Mulvey trying to draw one in here. Which they do, but it should be a fairly straightforward hit for them. Keep you updated on that one as soon as it finishes there.
All right, just
they're currently scoreless.
All right.
So Jason posted in the comments asking how many teams did they have to go through to get to the finals. So we have 16 teams overall in the Capital League. 8 would play in the Senate in any given round robin session, and 8 would play in the House League in any given session. After the 3 round robin sessions are finished, the top 4 teams, top 4-point teams, qualify for the President's Trophy Finals. So that would be the 2 teams you're watching right now. That's our overall club champions. teams that finish 5th through 8th overall play for what's called the Senate plaque. It's kind of the consolation trophy, I guess you would say. And then the top teams that were left in the house play for the house plaque, obviously. So each round of playoffs each has 4 teams. So the top 4 teams from the President's Trophy, they play a page playoff just to give a little more advantage to the team that managed to get seeded 1st and 2nd overall through those 3 round robin sessions. The 5th through 8 teams just play 5, 8, 6, 7 semifinals and finals. So they just play a straight playoff system that way, and same with the house plaque. So for Team Shirk, this is their 3rd game of the playoffs. They lost that 1-2 game, went down to the Page semifinal, won that game, and now they're playing their 3rd game of the playoffs to get this far.
Whoa. Whoa. Clean, clean. Whoa. Oh, Courtney, Courtney.
So these are the
Pretty straight there.
basically considered the top teams in our club. They're all self-formed teams. You enter Capital League as a team. There are other teams that we have that are team entry leagues on Thursday nights and Sunday evenings. Those are teams that we encourage to maybe are just wanting to, that they want to play together, but they maybe don't care as much about being super competitive or things like that. The other leagues that we have, the men's, women's leagues, pizza league, have different ways of putting those teams together. We have draft leagues, like men's and women's league. You have a skip and they draft from a pool of players. Pizza league and Friday night, I believe the coordinators will put those teams together for you. So there's some big weight there out of Caleb. Just a little off on that line though. So George has a chance to put that guard back. And just for those of you who wanted the update, Backstreet Boys did manage to hit that rock and stick for 2 in the second, and they take a 2-0 lead over Mulvey. We have leagues pretty much every night of the week at this club. Some leagues are more competitive than others. Some leagues are more fun. The Friday Night League, I believe some people would say curling is definitely a secondary consideration. We do a lot of stuff outside of that. People play games after their games. We also had the Olympic League on Friday nights after the Olympics.
I think just missed this one. Yeah, it's like a foot off. I kind of like this. Yeah, try to just miss this one. Out turn you one.
So those two pretty close together. I think he has to almost miss that top one to get them both, but should be able to throw enough weight to get both of them here for sure.
Yes, yes.
Just trying to play almost a redirect
Hard.
on this one.
Hard. Hard.
Just really solid. He had made any contact at all. Not quite.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, we just have to be like a biter.
Yes.
make a hit and stick around somewhere. No, he's going to roll out.
We're in with nose, but I want to roll. 10.
So now Hunter trying to
Mine's fine.
play the hit and roll into the house somewhere over in front of that other yellow. Maybe that yellow will be a catcher for something later.
Okay, we're out here. Maybe it'll slow down.
Clean. Whoa. Clean, yes. Yes. Hard.
Caleb working this one
Hard.
hard. This one's curling
Hard.
more than he
Yes.
expected
Yes.
to. Able to hold it and all the way over in front of that other yellow. Perfect shot.
You want that again?
Caleb also had a lot of success this year. He
I don't mind this because if it's here, we're good.
played as a fifth, I believe, at the
Play the draw.
he was a fifth for the Andrews Para team at Junior Nationals. I think that's who it
How
was.
heavy?
They keep changing teams on me now. They all used to play together.
Go, 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 go. Yeah.
Going their own ways. Hunter obviously played for
Yes, line hand.
Team Burr
Yep, hard.
at the Olympic trials and at the U.S. Men's Nationals. And second for that team. Eli, I mentioned, played in the U18 Nationals this year. And Eric Clausen basically does a lot of coaching for all these kids. So now with that hit and roll out, they're going to try to draw over to that same area.
Make sure it's more out.
I don't know how loud the microphones on the ice are for you guys, but you could definitely hear Stephen Enixon from a sheet over screaming for that shot to be made.
Out here, it's okay. A little tough's great.
He actually,
Yeah.
yes, okay. I was just wondering about that. I'm going to try to had those on-ice mics turned up a little bit too high. I just set them to what they told me to, folks. I can't do much about it. So, yeah, Stephen Enixon, who is the guy yelling there, actually adopted one of the rocks and had it engraved with, and it literally says, all the way hard. That is his rock. And can you imagine why?
Just fine. Gotta be in, guys.
So there, George just made a nice nose hit there. All right, hopefully I found the right level for those on-ice mics.
My first one, but yeah, that's why I was like, I just don't want to. I'd rather, because like if we're open on something, I'd just rather.
Yeah, that sounds much better. Can hear Tommy, but not as much as we were hearing before. So here's Hunter with the straightforward hit. Stick. Gotta say, this is the most straightforward game of the three that are going on right now. All of the other games have a bunch of rocks in play, kind of all over the place. That's why you hear a lot more yelling coming from over on those sheets.
Because I mean, if you are a hair wide, do you have air stuff? You're not in the hat. Half inch. Which do you prefer? Sure.
All right, George is now set up to go. He's trying to play the stick again. Just making sure he's not going to jam on that back yellow somewhere. Even if he rolls out, that's okay. He just doesn't want to give up a cheap deuce. And he does hit and roll out. And so, chance for Hunter to just kind of get a look at some different ice, perhaps, that he hasn't thrown yet. So yeah, he is just throwing through, taking a look at this line, see what it does. So that will be a blank, and it will remain 3-1 for Clausen to take the hammer into the fourth and even ends. Phone ringing off the hook here at the Potomac Curling Club today. Apparently we have a Saturday Breakfast League on Saturday mornings, which is also open to non-members, and it fills up in literally 15 seconds. So you have to be on it if you want to join in on that fun. So that first rock from Catherine again slipping just into the house. Not ideal when you're down 3-1.
This should run a little better, I think.
This one over curling though. Oof, just nudges it over. Does not take it out. Apparently they're having a tough time with Eric's rocks in particular, just kind of curling too much. So both the other sheets still in their third end. We'll update you on the scores as soon as we know what happens there. So Catherine coming in with another one, trying to just sit two. Actually, I don't know if she was actually trying to come in or just be a guard there, but it does slip in, leaving another rock for them to hit. Hunter signaling for the bit of a long double. This one looking much better than the first one. Just making the roll over and rolling in front of the red. Not quite what he was going for. So now George and calls for Jeremy to just throw another guard up, I guess. Yep, that one is a guard. Basically not thinking that throwing another one is going to do him a huge amount of good. So, and of course, Hunter runs right up and he's going to try to peel that. Looking at the angles here pretty closely, if he hits it maybe just right, he can get both reds. If he hits it a little bit wrong, maybe he jams on his own. Lots of weight here. A little bit too thick for the double, but peels the guard successfully. So, this one trying to put it back in about the same spot. Maybe a little bit different just to make those angles a little bit different. That one's hanging out a little bit more off the center line. But another nice guard. Hunter looking at the angles again. Quick update over on sheet C. Chris stole a point. So all that yelling from Steven Enixon must have done something good, because they managed to steal and take a 3-1 lead there after 3. Over on sheet D, they are still playing the third end. They're super complicated end setting up over there. With, let's see, there are currently 7 rocks in the house. And it looks like yellow is sitting 2 in the forefoot. Yellow is Team Mulvey, sitting 2. So I'll get you an update as soon as that one finishes up. So another successful peel here for Team Clausen, and George calling for Chris to make another center guard or possibly in the house.
Hard! Hard, guys. All the way, never up. Heads down. Gotta go. Gotta go.
I mean, if we tap it back, I think it should be the center line, because we want to make a pocket. Because, like, if you just tap it like, if you tap it deeper, then it doesn't make it any harder to remove the stone.
Probably get it to like here. There's no pocket anyway. Like there's no good pocket.
So here's that.
I mean, yeah, like I'm just saying, like hit it just on.
Still keeps looking over at those other rocks to see if he can get the angle down here.
Like T-line weight.
They're hitting that rock really, all those center guards really hard, but not quite getting them to. Hitting this one much thinner this time. Let's see. And he jams on his own. That was the risk in going for that shot. So now George sitting 2. He's going to have to think about what he wants to do here. Looks like he wants to maybe guard that rock that's in the 8-foot. Force Clausen to possibly make another peel. Throw a cold draw to the 4-foot. Team Clausen is throwing nothing but hits this end, so always interesting to see how teams adjust to that kind of strategy choices. You throw a bunch of hits and then all of a sudden you come up and have to throw a cold draw and nobody knows what the weight is. That one over curls probably just a little bit. So now Playing a little bit of a downweight hit on this one. Trying to hit and stick there. It's running really straight. I think he probably has enough of it. Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, I was wrong. I apologize. Big miss there. I think he just it surprised them that it didn't curl very much. I think he maybe just overthrew it just a tiny bit. And turned down Steven's mic again. Sorry. He's going to sleep in.
I think we do this. You want to do this? Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think it'll take a while to work over center.
So George now just trying to put another guard up in front of that rock in the 8-foot. Slipping a little bit deep, but still pretty good shot, just in the top 12. Let's see how Hunter comes up here. Trying to make a double here. Does make the double and rolls over. That was a heck of a lot of weight. That actually finally hit on the right, at the right angle for them. So George pretty much going to have to just hit that one on the nose and try to force, maybe a little roll to the inside, try to force Hunter to throw a draw for his single. And maybe, hopefully, if he doesn't make it, then he got a chance for a steal. We'll see.
But it looked pretty good coming out.
Yeah, this is exactly why I was saying earlier that George could not let the Clausens out to any kind of a lead. 2-point lead is difficult, but giving them 3 points in the first end just made it so that it's going to be really, really hard for them to sustain any kind of offense here. So now George, let's see what he can do. He can manage to get this on the nose and force them to a single. Very nicely done there. So Hunter is going to put the broom down directly for a draw. And this is the shot that I mentioned is really tough. After Hunter basically threw a sub 8-second hit on his last one, everybody else on his team has all thrown hits. How do you adjust, make that adjustment to try to throw a delicate draw? He is fortunate he has most of the house to work with. He just needs to be a little better than full 12. Sweepers seem pretty happy with it. They're sweeping hard, but not panicking. Just guiding this one in. And that will be a really nice shot right into the, straight on the button. Wow. And that's why that guy was at the national championships and Olympic trials, and I was not. All right, so single for Clausen. And they take the lead 4-1 after 4. And I will be right back. All right, guys. Back in action here. Shark now with the hammer. Trying to see what he can do. He, obviously Clausen chose to go in with their first, and George threw the corner guard. But Clausen's are going to try to keep all that play centered around the center of the ice. Peels his own out. I think he's okay with that. They're just going to try to end up keeping things pretty clean pretty much the rest of the way out. All right, so we have established that Jason is drinking scotch. I will share that I am now drinking the Heavy Seas Americanon beer, a double dry hopped American pale ale. Yeah, it's a local brewery out of, I guess they say it's technically out of Baltimore. Give them a free plug. 5.75 ABV, a bold pale ale that's been double dry hopped with Centennial and Simcoe hop powder. A true celebration of American independence. Alrighty. Back to the action. George's team not quite able to make their draw. Tapped Clausen in a little bit. So, but Hunter basically thinking that that corner guard is the one they have to worry about. So they're going to peel that, maybe make the double on those two reds, see what happens.
Yes. Whoa. Yes. Whoa. Yes. Whoa, 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 whoa.
He does hit both of them, but kind of jams on one, rolls it over a little bit. I think he accomplished the main objective, which was to make sure he got rid of that corner guard. George is going to try to use the yellow now as a corner guard. We saw a couple of rocks earlier in the game get a decent amount of curl going over to that side, so let's see what Jeremy is able to do here.
Normal. I think the tap might be better. Are we crossing it? A little bit. Same ice, let's go a little more weight. Which one are we hitting? This one.
This one, of course, right after I say it curls a lot, is running pretty straight, starting to curl a little bit now, but not going to get behind that yellow too much, maybe a little bit. Probably just a little bit, just a hair light and just didn't curl very much at all. So easy hit for Eli here, setting up. Quick update over on sheet C. Team Kriz stole another point, so they have a 4-1 lead, mirroring the score from this sheet. They are also through 4 ends. Team Mulvey over on sheet D got 3 in the third, and they now have a 3-2 lead. But they are still playing the 4th end. They are so far the slowest game on the ice. And at one point earlier, came running in to ask whether or not the clock was on today, and it is on. We have a time limit. Yeah, the timing computer was not working for a little while, but it is now. So nice little shot there from Eli. Got the little bit of a roll behind. So now yellow sitting with those 2 staggered shots right there, making it tough for Chris Faircloth here to. It's going to be a tough shot for him to remove. Still going to try to do it though, because then he'll be able to maybe use his own as a yard if they don't make the. Clausen doesn't make the double on those.
Yeah. I think let's go for the tap. If it overcurls, we'll go for the split.
Yes! Yes!
Looks like this one's pretty close. Hits the 2, rolls that yellow all the way over. Not quite what they were going for, but definitely still the Clausens are going to have to deal with those 2 reds over there. Just trying to protect their lead.
Play the same way.
So there's another nose hit. So George looks like he's gonna try to deal with that now. I don't know. I think maybe he's a little worried that if that last one that Jeremy tried to throw behind the corner guard didn't curl enough. He's a little worried that it's not going to curl again. Otherwise, I think he would definitely be drawing all day underneath that guard if he thought he could try to force them to play a run back. But instead, he's going to try to play a hit and roll over. Must be pretty close. Had him sweeping early and came off a little bit. Now it curled hard. Oh, wow, that curled a bunch at the end.
Nice throw, Chris.
Just missed it. Came up for a little too long. He needed to put those brooms back down and get back on that, but not quite able to hold it. So there you hear a little bit of the discussion about what they're trying to do here. Kind of the thought process going into this shot selection. That one was just probably a little bit heavier, I think, maybe than they were going for, but really nice shot. So playing that split again, that yellow was just close enough to the house that they were able to play, you know, like somewhere back 12 kind of weight, tap that one yellow over, split their own onto the house. Really nice shot. George now here talking to Chris with the dilemma. You gotta generate some points here somehow, and what are you gonna do when there's not a whole lot to hide behind? So seems like he decided to play that hit and roll over. If he can roll over behind the red a little bit, maybe corner freeze that yellow would be a perfect shot. I think mostly he's just trying to get it so that that red guard comes into view. Just messes with the mind of Hunter Clausen to put it in his head. This one running a little bit wide. That is not going to come back and get a roll under. It's going to roll away and out, which is not great. It's showing that difficulty reading that line again. Just overthrow it a little bit, it hangs out there, and it's not going to come back.
Oh, you want to come out and turn
Went a little hard. I mean, even if you were here.
I'm not going to have much of that green.
Just for the record, sheet D, you're not misreading. They have not updated a score because they are still playing the 4th end. This game is almost done with the 5th end, so they are almost a full end behind. They are definitely playing a more complicated game because they are playing with a lot more rocks in the house, but just now finishing up that 4th end, and it looked like it was a steal of 1 for Mulvey. But I will update you when they hang that score.
Wait on it, let it curl first. Sweep it late if you can. Make sure it's touching paint. Make sure we're touching paint. Slow down on time. You gotta go, you gotta go. Come on, you gotta go, you gotta lean in. You gotta go.
So a little bit light with that draw. I did not get into the house. You heard Eric in the background yelling that they had to touch paint. So not exactly an easy shot here for George to either blank. I don't think they can play that same split shot because of that yellow that's still in the back. If they tried to play a split, it would, yeah, it's just not gonna quite out-count that yellow. It's gonna be difficult to do that. So George here, tricky little shot to either stick and hit on the outside or roll out. Sometimes you get out in those wings, you're not really sure what it's going to do. It hangs out there more than you expect. So we'll see how he does here. And it looks like they are just going to nose it. Yep, right, pretty much right on the nose, so they're going to stick around for 1. So after 5 ends, it's 4-2 in favor of Clausen. And as I mentioned over on sheet D, Team Mulvey did steal 1 in that 4th end, so they are also 4-2 after 4 ends.
No, I just am saying I didn't. And I do think that rock of mine, that 6.
So now Shirk is definitely going to have to start generating some offense. Really need some guards to even just try to junk things up here a little bit. They haven't, Catherine's been a little heavy with a lot of her first rocks slipping into the house, and it's been making it pretty hard for them to generate any offense in kind of a traditional way. Usually generating offense is you're throwing guards and trying to draw behind. As we've seen, it's a little bit of a straight ice today, so maybe not the easiest thing to try to throw a guard and draw behind, but obviously you got to try to throw guards. So Hunter going to ignore that one. Call the draw into the house on the wing. That one sinking a little bit deeper than they wanted, but it's still in the house in the back. So George calling for another guard. The more junk you can throw up, the better for them, I think, at this point. You know the Clausens are going to be trying to peel stuff. Try to force them to look and see those angles and make those doubles if they can. But you're going to need guards to muck things up a little bit. This is definitely a guard weight. Just as long as it's over the hog, which it is.
Control! Yeah! Yeah!
So this brings up a good point I should mention now. The current rule in curling is that there is a 4-rock free guard zone, which means that until 4 rocks have been played, you cannot remove an opposing stone that is in the guard zone, which is basically that white area in front of the house, from the hog line to in front of the house. Next year, they are changing the rules. They are moving to a 5-rock free guard zone. So Catherine, in that case, would be able to throw 1 more free guard and muck it up even more before anybody was allowed to take things out. Saw probably a lot in the Olympics, teams getting really, really good at throwing the tick shot. So they would, if one team would throw a guard, the other team would throw a tick shot that would move it all the way over to the side, but not completely out of play. And because of that, they decided to kind of move to a 5-rock free guard zone to make the offensive possibilities a little stronger. So.
Do you like the out? Okay, let's play the out.
So now, though, Caleb has the opportunity to throw a peel on some of these guards, hoping to get rid of a couple of them. Or at least just peel one out and roll his own away. This is pretty close to making a double on something. And almost made the triple, wow. That's a pretty darn good shot. Just when you think you're in good shape with 3 guards up there, they're all gone. So George not really left with much choice. He's going to have to throw another guard somewhere. Hope to get stuff back into place. Nice guard from Jeremy. And of course Hunter's going to step right up and try to peel that one. This one looks like it'll be a more straightforward peel. Yep, just gonna take the one off. I didn't even realize they were up to Vice Rocks now. Chris throwing another guard. This one definitely longer. They're trying to make sure it gets over the hog line. Oh, it's not quite. Oh, not gonna make it. That's a tough break. Usually when ice is this straight, you can carry your rocks a long way because it's not curling very much, but that one just not enough weight at all. So now, pretty easy call for Clausen to just take that red one. They could stick around somewhere in set 2. It could be almost game over at this point. Could potentially be a score of 2 after 6 ends. We'll have to see. 4-point lead with 2 ends to go is pretty tough. So not much for George to do here except now just try to hit that yellow rock and roll over in front of the other yellow. Hope for a jam somewhere. Looks like he is going to make a little hit and flop over a little too far. Hoping for that little spin back in. Nope, not quite. Technically still in play, I think, but far enough over that it's not going to matter. So Eli now trying to draw another one in the house somewhere. Sit for that 2. This one's also looking a little bit light. Just really has to touch any part of the house. Sit 2. And he does. Good sweeping, managed to carry it all the way. Hunter jumping out and taking all the credit for sweeping it that last 3 feet, of course. Skips like to do that. Jump out and sweep that last couple feet. Oh yeah, I'm the one who totally got it there. That was me. I say as a skip. So pretty much George has about the same shot call here. Trying to hit and roll over in front of that red, hope for a jam somewhere. This one is super tight. Ugh, George just got a little too cute there trying to make that hit and roll. Did not make the hit at all. You always got to make the hit first and worry about the roll later. So about that, I was talking about that 5 rock rule earlier. All I know is, as far as our club is concerned, it is on the agenda for our board meeting on Sunday. All it says right there is 5 rock rule happening next season, but it doesn't say anything about whether or not we're going to be implementing it. Adam is totally the man because he is on the board and he's on that committee that's discussing it. So I assume he would probably know the most about it. So nice draw here from Hunter. Sitting 3. George is going to be in a tough spot now. See what he can do. He's kind of almost desperate here. I mean, it's one of those things like, can you make a freeze? It's his last rock at the end. You're already down 2. Can you make a freeze somewhere, or do you just try to make the double to limit the scoring? Maybe only go down by 4. It's a tough call. As far as the other WCF broom rules, we have people using brooms of all types at this current the league finals. We have the Clausens, since they compete so much, they always pretty much use their certified broom heads, the yellow ones that you see out there. You can see Chris Faircloth is using one of the ice pad broom heads. We have Michael Fry over on Cheat C using a Big Fat Cheater hair broom, which is a long time banned. Like, that's I joke, of course. He has been using that for years and probably will continue to use it. And then we have all sorts of broom heads. Some people cover their own broom heads, and some people just use the ones they buy from Brooms Up Curling or whatever. So I'm just not sure whether or not we're going to be implementing that 5 rock rule for the whole things. So George here trying to just nose this one, maybe make the double. He does nose it. Misses the double just by a hair, but he's sitting shot. I mean, that's... I think he was hoping to maybe make the double, but since he's sitting shot, he's going to force Hunter to make the hit and not jam or possibly roll out. Sorry, had to turn Steven down again there. That is Mike all the way up.
All you guys. Mine's fine. Plenty of room. Got a curl.
I think I actually still have a no, I used to have a hammer room at home, and then it got lost somewhere. So that one was probably the noisiest room you will ever see here. And Hunter making the nice hit and stick. They will score 3. And so now they have a 7-2 lead after 6 ends. Lots of looking around here. George is still standing back here at the other end, trying to decide if he wants to keep playing. And since it's the last game of the year, club championship, you might as well keep playing. So they do decide to play one more. See if anything happens here. I think you're probably right.
How deep am I going?
Interesting that Clausen left up a guard there. Don't think they meant to do that at all. So this is one of the quirks of curling. If there is a free guard and it's your own rock, you can definitely take it out.
Yes.
And that is what he's going to do.
Whoa. Yes.
Or try to do.
Yes. Whoa.
Because they've had trouble sweeping Eric's hits all day. They've all curled more than they thought they would. That one did also curl more than they thought it would, but it curled enough that it got out of the way. So George is going to try to throw another guard up. And that's a nice guard there.
You want to play the out at it, or?
So Caleb now going to throw the out turn hit at the inside of the rock, try to hit that one thin.
Whoa.
And maybe make a double over. Nope, he's just going to hit that one. Peel right across the top of both of those. So George still trying to generate some offense, going to throw another guard. See how many guards he can throw up. Another nice long guard. Get you updates on the other sheets as soon as they start finishing up their games. Sheet C is almost done with their 6th end. That end has been a little bit more complicated. So they're Team Cocktail trying to tighten it up on Team Frizz here. They got a chance.
Yes.
If they do, make some shots, but definitely need to make some shots. And Nick Datlow almost made a really nice shot, but not quite. Still sitting 2, though. They've got a chance to come back here. They have a few more rocks here left to go. Chance now to come back. Get themselves back in the game. A little update over on sheet D, where they're also still playing the 6th end, but they're like right in the middle of it. Team Mulvey stole 2 in the 5th, so they are now up 6-2 over Hack Street Boys. Back here on our feature sheet, Peel was made, and now Jeremy Van Den Houten trying to put a guard back up again. Mainly here just trying to put guards in different places, maybe hoping for a miss in a different way. You saw the first guard that they had was a little bit tighter, and Caleb threw enough weight that he almost made that long double. So I think with Jeremy's first guard, he was trying to just throw it a little bit longer to make that double harder, basically trying to keep some guards in play. These 2 guards also seem to be pretty well separated, so it's going to be hard to make a double. So Eli's just peeling 1 and rolling it all the way over. I don't know if they're going to be able to use those 2 yellow guards over there, but they are 2 yellows that are in the way. If they can draw one over to the extreme left side of the sheet as we're looking at it.
Well, as long as that double doesn't run from their rock into our stuff, right?
All right, I am going to switch over real quick to, as Chris Faircloth here throws another guard, I'm going to switch over real quick to the game, just the overhead view over on sheet C, so that you can see Chris is up by 4, but if Nick manages to make this double, he's got a chance to come back, but they're sweeping it hard all the way. They really need to get that red off the button. They can at least get a bunch, maybe not 5, but they do manage to score 2, it looks like. That one was just curling right out of Nick's hand. So a little bit of a comeback, mini comeback, possibly 3. They might measure this one. We'll come back to that in a little bit and let you know what the result of that was.
Yes. Hard. Hard.
So another peel made, and George is running out of rocks here. He's going to have to try to start drawing behind, it looks like. See what he can make of those guards. So Chris here is a fine curler in his own right. He, in previous years, has won the GNCC Club Playdowns. So he went on to represent the region at the U.S. Club Nationals level. Played with a few of the other players that are playing tonight. Michael Fry, I know, is one of them. I'm trying to remember who else he played with. So that was a pretty decent shot from him there. He managed just to tap that red over behind the other yellows. See if leaving those around will cost the Clausens a little bit here, maybe. So as Adam mentioned in the comments, leaving the tight guards makes the runbacks relatively easier. This is still not a super easy shot. It's a little bit further out than maybe you'd like to be trying for a run back, but he'll be happy if he just manages to straight peel that red and make sure that George only scores at least just 1, as long as he opens up. Pretty close, and he does make the run back. Very nice. Run back and peel there.
Yeah, she was really soft with that first.
It's very difficult when you're this far behind against the Clausens to generate that offense. Like I said, even if you have those guards, you got to make every shot perfect.
You want right the edge here?
The one team that I will mention that had a lot of success against them this season was Michael Dobbs. I think his strategy is to play a lot of rocks in play, a lot of junk in the house, a lot of junk all around. So he was able to have a lot of success just by having a lot of those rocks in play and managing to get slight misses out of this team as a result.
Yep, yes!
So George now just trying to draw behind his own, maybe even just make a straight tap of that red. Very similar to Chris's shot. He's going to need to just a little bit light, tap it up a bit. No, can't quite tap it up enough. Just a little light on that draw. So over on sheet C, it was a deuce for Cocktail in the 6th end, and they narrowed the gap to 5-3, and are currently sitting 2 right now. Sheet D is still playing their 6th end, still talking a lot about their shot choices. However, they do have plenty of time, it should be, to finish the game.
Eli close, Eli close.
So Hunter now trying to draw behind those 2 reds on zone. And Eli doing a fine job of sweeping that one and getting a little bit more curl out of that, and that is a really nice shot into the top 4. Yeah, half in the forefoot. So George is going to have to draw to the full 4 to score 1. And it may be handshakes anyways at this point. If he only takes 1, he's going to be down 4. Sweepers on this one all the way, thinking they need it. Chris is trying to encourage them to wait for the line a little bit because they do need to get full 4, and it's still hanging out in the 8-foot a little bit. And the sweepers did not need to sweep it that much. And it just does slip behind the 4-foot, and I think that is a steal of 1, and it is handshakes. So congratulations to Team Clausen. That is the 3rd year in a row that they win the club championship. We got to break up that team. I'm going to try to steal one of their players for my team next year, I think. Yeah, some of them should be going away to college, we hope. I don't know. We'll see. Congratulations to them. We're going to, let's see, let's try to switch over, if we can, the cameras over to sheet C. Sorry for the vertigo. Get those cameras moved over there for you. And so you can see what's going on there. Looks to me like Team Chris is sitting shot with that red rock behind a guard over on the left side. Chris is up by 2 right now after Cocktail scored their deuce in the 6th to narrow the gap a little bit. So they're just going to try to peel guards. There are definitely, it's a nice double peel by Chris there. Definitely teams that are going to be shaken up next year. Some people, this is Washington, D.C. area is a bit of a transient area. There's a lot of teams, players that come in and move away after a couple years. I know that Team Chris, who has Chad Shulkin playing for them right now, had A.J. Oyer playing for them for quite a while, and he's moving to Wisconsin. Some of the other players are moving away or possibly switching teams. Not for the 4-year Olympic cycle by any means, but, you know, teams switch up. They start getting ready for different events. Some of these teams are playing mixed playdowns. Some of these teams are playing men's playdowns. Some of them are playing dykes. I know Hackstreet Boys was a dykes team, which is one of our 5 and under events. the Francis Dykes Bonspiel for male curlers with 5 years of experience or less. The mixed bonspiel of that variety is the Kaiser, and the women's bonspiel of that variety is the Childs. So we have lots of events around here on the East Coast that teams can compete in. Then some of the other teams play together in club playdowns, GNCC club playdowns. This year that event was in Massachusetts, in Boston at the Country Club. And some other teams just like playing bonspiels together as well. Traveling to other events. I'm going to try to travel more this year. I didn't travel except for men's club playdowns in Boston. That was the only event I went to this year. I'm already plotting with some of the people on the chat. Jeremy Singer is one of them, to go to other bonspiels next year. We are also trying to coordinate a, let's see if I have this right, trying to coordinate an event with the Ottawa Curling Club. We're trying to do kind of an curling exchange program kind of thing with them. So we're going to have another update about that event at our board meeting this weekend as well. We'll see what comes out of that. And you all are very welcome to come join us here at Potomac Curling Club this year. We have 3 bonspiels this year. We have the Glitter Bonspiel, which I believe, let's double check the dates on that. The Glitter Bonspiel will be October 5th through the 7th this year. We are also going to have the Embassy Row Bonspiel from November 16th to 18th this year. And this year it is, the Embassy is Scotland. Shocking for a curling club to have something Scottish themed. And then of course every year we have our Cherry Blossom Bonspiel, which is at the end of March. So please come on out and check those out.
I don't know. The only other, I think either we draw here. That's probably the fall.
Thank you, Adam. It is the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club, not the Ottawa Curling Club. Different club. Still an exchange program, as far as I know. They have lots of curling clubs up there, so it's hard to keep track of those. All right, so back over to this game. It looks to me like it's a little close, but it looks like Chris is still sitting 2 somehow. That little draw that Cocktail threw was a little bit light, and it's kind of well hidden behind their own guard. Otherwise, I would say they might be able to play one of those split shots that the Clausen rink was so successful with last game. Let's see if I can switch this to the right place. There you go. You can see the overhead view there. That yellow rock is just a little bit short of where they need it to be. All right, sorry about that. We had a little chat with the Clausens. The three-peat will be the last championship for them as a team together. Hunter is moving to Minnesota next year, and Caleb is moving to Ontario. Trent University, I think is what he said. So yeah, so those two guys are not going to be around anymore. Eli and Eric will be the last two left. And so free agency period begins now. And so there you go. 2 points, 2 more points for Team Chris, and there's handshakes. So congratulations to them. Team Chris wins the Senate plaque. I feel much better now because we lost to Team Chris last week. All right, one more time. I'm going to flip over to the last game going on. Way over there on Cheat T, because it's super clear at the angle. What's going on there? There we go. So Mulvey is yellow, and Hackstreet Boys obviously red. Mulvey with a 2-point lead at this point. Just making it by that guard. No, not making it by that guard. It just ticked the guard. Thought they made it by. Shows you how good that angle is. All right, I'm trying to pay attention and also talking to people in the background here, muting my mic so you guys don't have to listen to me. So like I said, Mulvey is, I didn't update the score. Hackstreet Boys is only down 6-4. They did manage to get 2 in the 6th end. Mulvey is the Red Rocks. And Hackstreet Boys made a nice shot with their last one. They're sitting 1. No, I'm sorry. He did not quite make the shot. Mulvey is still sitting 1. Trying to draw another one in for 2. With Connor second. Connor and I played together way back in my early years in 2004. 2004 and 5. We played together with Scott Eady and Jason Sethi and somebody else whose name Lyle Magnuson. And our name is on that President's Trophy because we were the best team that year. And Connor's name is on there a couple times, I think. He played also with Sean Murray one year, and I think another year I think he also played with Chris Faircloth another year. Tanya Mulvey's name is also on there. So yeah, strong curlers there all together. They're playing with 2 folks that are, I think, relatively new to our club. So I think that team was kind of trying to figure itself out this year. So 2 new members playing with a strong back end. The Hack Street Boys are a team that are mostly 5 and unders. Frank, Michael, Kyle, and Thomas are all, I believe they're all 5 and under curlers. So a little inexperienced, but still really good curlers. Tom and Frank, especially, I've been impressed with their sweeping technique. A lot of those early curlers tend to not really get the lean onto it. They are a little hesitant to put the weight on the broom. But those guys definitely get all the weight onto the broom and are really sweeping hard. All right, so now Tanya here trying to just tap that one back a little bit. See if they can sit 2. Probably end up putting this game away. If they do manage to score 2, they'd be up 4 with just 1 end remaining. And just over curled a little bit. But they are going to definitely have a shot somewhere to get that deuce. Kind of a dangerous situation here for Hack Street Boys. They're almost certainly going to give up 1. But you really need to make sure you don't give up 2. I'm not really sure what he actually did call here. He might have actually called that triple takeout to sit on the button, Jason. Let's see what he does. It's not light. I think he was actually trying to double tap his own over on the right side, but he's got to get around that guard, and that's not getting around that guard at all. So probably just another tap for Tanya to sit 2 again. Pretty easy shot to end up sitting 2 somehow. Just tap one of those yellows up. Even if she ends up being a little heavy and hits her own, that's going to be, even just a score of 1 to be up 3 with 1 end remaining. All right, so simple shot here for Tanya. Pretty much the same thing that she just threw, just about. Tap something up. As long as she gets fully into the forefoot, they will score 2 and take a 4-point lead and probably put the game away. I don't know if they're going to get any of these thick enough to get that one up into the. Oh no! I think they only managed to get the one. They hit both of those, but just neither of them quite enough to tap them up enough. And so it is only a score of a 1 for Molly, and I think they're going to keep playing. Going to take some misses out of Molly here, but still alive. All right, the warm room is getting a little bit noisier here as the teams have come off the ice. Try to keep the microphone closer to my mouth so you don't have to listen to everybody else. I don't know. Those people are annoying. Just kidding. So here, Hackstree boys now sitting one behind a guard. And so this is the difference between the Clausens playing and the teams that are basically the 9th through 12th ranked teams in our league. Clausens almost certainly would have tried to peel there. But here, Molly plays a nice tap, hit, and stick. And now they are the one that is buried behind that yard. just different, totally different strategies depending on the strengths of your team. And obviously, Mulvey has played a full season with that team now, and they know what their strengths are, and they don't throw the peel weight like the Clausens do, and so they played the nice little hit, soft hit, curled enough, made that nice takeout, and stuck around. So here Frank is now going to try to freeze to that yellow rock. Maybe just a hair heavy. Nope, really nice shot. Very nicely done by Frank. So they have a chance here. We'll see. They need to score 3 to force the extra end. So this game that we're watching now is for the house plaque. No matter what happens, if they win this game, they get their name on a plaque, on a trophy. So that's always pretty cool. This one a little more narrow than the first one. They're going to hit that guard and try to roll it off a little bit, maybe. And it does take the guard out. Gives Hack Street Boys a chance to sink another one under there somewhere. Frank basically trying to throw the same shot he just threw. The guard moved over a little bit though, so the line is a little bit tighter. They're sweeping this one hard. It's got to get it into the 8-foot, all the way into the 8-foot. Very nicely swept by those two. Credit to Michael and Tom there, sweeping that one really well. They're sitting 2 now. So Tanya now stepping right up and calling for Connor to make the peel on that guard. They have got to get rid of that thing. That is just killing them. I think she probably wishes she could have thrown it earlier, but as I mentioned, playing to the strengths of her team. Knowing that her second maybe didn't have that shot. And so now Connor's going to play the straight peel. He definitely has that shot. A little bit of a tight squeeze there. Probably hit it the opposite side that he was trying to hit it, but did make the nice peel. So Kyle's going to try to call for them to put it right back. If you guys are watching and you're interested, we do still have some openings available this week. The next week for our Learn to Curl events. We are keeping the club open for an extra week. Our Saturday event looks like it's full. We should still have openings on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Each one of those starts at 7 o'clock, our Learn to Curl events. I will be there on Wednesday if you want to come say hi to me. And also on Tuesday at 7:30, the special edition of the Women's Learn to Curl will be going on. Sign up online at curldc.org. So Michael makes a nice shot, puts that guard back, and it's definitely an issue here. Things are getting cluttered up. Now you kind of see why this game is the last one on the ice. They've been playing a lot of ends like this. I've been looking over every now and then. They are playing a lot of ends with a lot of rocks in play. Complicated ends. You got to think a lot about what to do. Tanya initially kind of looked at maybe hitting off their own and rolling over. Now she's looking at freezing on that top red. Obviously, peeling the the red guard is also an option. They're just trying to not give up 3 points somehow, because they really don't want to play that extra end, I think. It's been a long year. 10-15 out here on the East Coast. So it looks like they did call some kind of a draw. Either a freeze or a just straight draw. See if Connor has the right weight here. Looking a little heavy to me. Squeaks by that guard. He's going to be heavy, but he's going to roll off of some of those reds, I think. He does, but he rolls into the open. It is shot rock, so Hackstreet's going to have to do something about it. Pretty good shot from Connor, just a little bit heavy and didn't quite get enough curl out of that one. I think they were really just trying to sit on top of that red and cut off the scoring area a little bit, give themselves options later. So now Michael Ray is going to try to hit this yellow rock and roll over behind the other yellow guards. And they have a decent chance of scoring at least 3, if not 4, if they make this shot. It's going to be tricky for Mulvey to protect this lead. Pretty good shot, makes the little hit, and oh, just a little bit of a roll. Maybe just swept that a little more than they needed to. I agree with that though. What you really got to do, we saw this mistake in our feature game a couple times, is you got to make sure that you make the hit first and the roll second. So sometimes when you're playing over on these corner sheets, the edge sheets on the sheet D, you get a little bit more curl when it comes away from that wall, and it surprises you. So they were just really making sure that they made the hit and wanted to keep sweeping until they were sure they had the hit and then decide to come up a little bit and make the roll. So Tanya now coming up, probably not what she was hoping to be facing with her 2 skip rocks. She has a relatively straightforward hit, but there are some guards out there. There's a yellow and a red guard, and there's the yellow that's in the top 8 foot there as you look at it. None of them looks like they should come into play, but when you take into account the amount of curl and depending on how much weight she throws, it could end up affecting the shot. They're all just things that you have to look at that you're a little bit worried about when you're delivering the rock. No broom, no sweeping from the sweepers right now. Pretty straightforward, straight shot and hits it right on the nose. Jams on the back one but rolls away. That's fine. That was a pretty straight shot. So Kyle now coming up with the opportunity to make that similar hit and roll. If he does manage to make the hit and roll and sit 3, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Tanya to make her last shot. So for those keeping track on the broadcast, hold on just one moment. Sorry, had to double check. I switched over to the Jailbreak Big Punisher double IPA. Thanks to Jeremy and Catherine for bringing that one today. Jailbreak, for those of you who want to visit Potomac Curling Club, is maybe only 10 minutes away, if that. they have recently expanded their space, I've been told, and they used to only be a brewery that had food trucks that would come out on the weekends, and now they've expanded their space. They have a kitchen, got a full food menu. It's awesome. You should check it out when you're in town for Bonspiel. All right, back to the game. Kyle throwing his shot. This thing is over curling by a ton. He's got to get it by both rocks, and he only gets it by the front one. Jams on that yellow that was in the 8-foot. Unfortunate miss from them. Still a little bit of a danger shot here from Mulvey. They are going to have to try to sit, either throw the perfect guard or they maybe want to sit two. If you can't make the perfect guard, the second best shot is to sit second shot. So yeah, if you guys want to come out to Potomac Curling Club, as I mentioned, we have 3 Bonspiels this year for sure. Glitter Bomb Spiel in October, the Embassy Row Spiel in November, and our very popular Cherry Blossom Spiel in March. Check our website, curldt.org, for those. Lots of stuff to do around here. Jailbreak Brewing Company is right around the corner, about 5 or 10 minutes away. And DC is a short drive in ideal conditions. If anybody knows about DC traffic, you know what I'm talking about. But on the weekends, it's usually pretty close, pretty easy to get into the city. Lots of stuff to do in the city. Obviously, you can go see all the monuments. There's some other breweries around DC Brow, Atlas Brewing Company. Distilleries, we have 1-8 Distillery. We got Green Hat is another one that's nearby. Good stuff all around. All right, so it looks like they decided to just kind of draw another one in somewhere and just kind of hope for the best. If they don't make this end up being a really good shot, they basically have to freeze or come close to freezing, at least be second shot to one of those other reds. Otherwise, Team Hack Street Boys is going to have a chance. Oh, man. The players from Mulvey lost his gripper there and ended up on his slider. That is just a little bit too heavy. He's going to sail right through, and that's going to leave a shot for Hack Street Boys. They're going to have a shot to send this game to an extra end if they can just make a hit and stick here. Kyle is hopefully learned from his previous shot. Can't be super tight on this one. As long as you hit the broom, throw the right weight, it's super easy. That's all you got to do. Hit the broom, throw the right weight. Curling's an easy game. Here's Kyle. Early sweeping. Oh, man. That thing's gone. I don't know. They're trying really hard. Sweeping for all they're worth. They just pinched it tight again, it looks like. And he is not going to make it. So, congratulations to Team Mulvey, who managed to pull off a squeaker there. Stealing that one in the 8th to win the house plaque. So, our 3 champions this round, Team Clausen, congratulations to them. They won the President's Trophy for the overall champion of the league for the 3rd straight year. And Team Chris, who won the Senate plaque. And finally, Team Mulvey, who won the house plaque. Thank you all, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate you putting up with me and tune in later this week. I think we have a couple more league championships still to come on Thursday and possibly Friday. Come out to the club, try curling, learn to curl next week. Sign up on curldc.org, and we will see you all next time. Thanks.